I was sort of stepping into the shoes of, like, not realizing trans people exist, but more so getting accustomed with actually meeting trans people. And it's much like every new experience, it was kind of awkward, it was sort of unknown, I wasn't sure what I could talk about and everything. And then I'm at Dooms and I realized, I'm starting to sort of get it here and there. But when I played Bridget's story, I think that was the moment where I was like, I get it now. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Autumn Colors Podcast, the podcast that I keep doing because it ain't getting boring yet. I'm your host, the man with his own radio show, the Artstation, Sozo-sha. Today I'm joined with the person that thinks babies pop out of the eyes, Scion.
Hello! Good to be back.
Today we are talking about Guilty Gear Strive, a game that, more so since last year, the rest of the server have kind of been getting more into and everything. And, yeah, ultimately we're gonna go through, quite a bit. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but, I guess we'll see how things play out. But more so, we can get into it. But first things first, of course, I have to ask, how you been?
I've been doing well. I've been recovering from a cold that I got recently, but I'm doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing good. The weather is sort of, like, fluctuating where I am, because, like, yesterday it was, like, in the 70s. And now we're getting snow. So, I'm dealing with that. Other than that, I mean, it's just, it's been here or there, mainly, but yeah.
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 We have polar opposites in, over in Australia, it's, freaking hot over here because it's summer, and then we have Zozo who is freezing.
Yeah. Okay, so... So today, for Guilty Gear, I think we should first talk about... So, if you don't mind, would you mind, delving into sort of, your history with Guilty Gear, or how you got into it?
Pretty much, it's one word, BlazBlue. I was well into BlazBlue around the time, and I saw a video that's like, what if BlazBlue crossed over with Guilty Gear, and as well as Death Battle and all that such. And then I got delved into Guilty Gear the moment I saw you playing you and Ninja playing Guilty Gear. And I was like, I need to research all of this. I need to research what the lore is and all that such. I've been and yeah, basically.
Okay.
I am well into Guilty Gear, and I'm still waiting on my sibling to get the game for me. And that's my story.
Okay. Man. I have not been... It's a shame, because I left this as I left this open for people to come in, but it's I was kind of feeling like Ninja would have joined, but I'm guessing not. But, as for me, because personally for me, I got into the series back in, 2020, because they were having, pretty much a giveaway of, codes on Steam, where, they were just giving out, certain games. A bunch of these Artstation games. And there were 3 Guilty Gear games in particular that I got. And that was Overture, Accent Core, and Itsuka. So,
ooh.
Yeah, I had a bit of a history with this game, but it's just it never really I don't know, it just never really clicked. It's actually more so it's just I could never find really people to play with. That was the thing. It's just I don't know. It's just I didn't ever find anybody to play with, so it's just it was something where it's just I didn't really want to get into. And then Strive came out, and I've been hearing good things about that and more people getting it, and then I saw it on sale and then I bought it. And it's been just doing well for me and everything, and I've been loving it. And yeah, I also have been loving modding it, and it is just, you know, it has some things here or there, but overall, it is just this most fun game, one of the most enjoyable fighting games I've ever played, and one of the most, like, audio-wise, most entertaining game.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I've been listening to, like, the Strive soundtrack ever since I, like, found out that it's out on Spotify. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a listen. And I've been listening to the soundtrack ever since.
Yeah, I know how you feel, Yeah. I will listen to just Armor-Clad Faith at the bus stop by myself with, like, no expression on my face.
Yes!
Just like passengers come by, it's just like, wait, what? Oh, dude, what you listen to? Nothing much. I'm a fool! I know nothing! Just completely blank expression on my face, and just listening to fucking, like, just the hardcore Guilty Gear music. I just love it.
Yes!
Yeah, this game has some really good music, along with some pretty interesting story and lore. Speaking of story and lore,
yeah,
let's talk about it. So, let's talk about Guilty Gear Strive and its story. So, how much of it do you know?
I know some of it, mainly because you invited me to watch the Guilty Gear Strive story, but modded.
Yeah.
But I went onto YouTube and, like, watched all the cutscenes that I missed out on, as well as that, and I'm intrigued. I really like the story. It continues on from, like, Exford.
Yeah.
Just like, and yeah. The voice acting's good. I really like the how they deal with the lore of Guilty Gear, and it's a really good conclusion to Soul Bad Guy's story.
Yeah, it definitely is a shame because it's like it feels like the Tekken 8 Devil May Cry 5 of Guilty Gear, where it's like, it's a good enough story if you're essentially like, if you're like us, where you just like join the game sort of late in the game. But if you've been a long-time fan of this since like day one, or at least day one, this game must feel like cathartic. It must feel like it feels like this genuine closer that feels so satisfied and close off, because it was like, after how many years of Guilty Gear being around, and Strive is giving the story where it feels like a good conclusion to, in a way, not just like Soul Bad Guy, not just Jacko, not even just like that man, but also Ramlethal.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
It gives a really good conclusion to Ramlethal's story too, since she was one of the newer characters was in Exford.
Yeah, which I recall, she started out as a antagonistic or villainous role in that, and then in Strive she is more on the protagonist side.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think it is interesting to sort of, I don't know, I guess a story like this not take itself too seriously at times, because it's just like a lot of the times with stories like this, they can get overly like serious, like in a way, like I think that's kind of like Tekken itself is like, with Tekken 8, like its story is or Tekken over the years, like its story has been very serious and everything, but much of the focus around Tekken has always been like comedy based. It's interesting to see just how Guilty Gear balances both comedy and story and drama like in one, and I think a lot of that has to do with the sort of like jank of the animations. Like, on one hand, you could say
Yes.
ArcSys is sort of like, they don't really deal with, like, 3D animations or anything, but I think, like, with the way some of these cutscenes have been animated, I feel like that jank just, like, leans into it.
Yeah. I agree with you there, because, like, I've saw, like, ever since with, like, X4, they've been, like, trying to, like, do that with, like, their cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, even with Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
You feel that jank with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's really not much else to say, but it adds a little bit of a unique way of doing cutscenes for Guilty Gear, especially with Strive.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. And it's, oh man, it is, like... It is interesting, because, like, from what I know about the lore of Guilty Gear and everything, and just, like, how much this, like, caps off, like, certain characters and everything, and just does major reveals and everything, it is interesting to see all that unfold and turn into this, and it just, like... Oh man, it just like it like I really this really makes me feel like if I had the time to go back and actually start over from scratch with Guilty Gear, because that's the type of game this is making me feel, because it feels like there's so much I had missed out on account of this game being, by all accounts, until I honestly believe Strive, underrated.
Like, I haven't even like heard about Guilty Gear even before Strive came out. I was just like, this seems like a niche, like a. I wonder what game it will make to like make Guilty Gear popular, and then boom, Strive comes out.
Yeah, the thing about a lot of ArcSys games I notice is that it's not that they're bad, but it's just like it always sort of felt like that you have to be like majorly into fighting games to be able to dig into that rabbit hole, because everything else from that spectrum is very much like Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Dragon Ball fighting games. Dragon Ball fighting games alongside anime fighting games. And that was kinda it. Everything else either was sort of a, like, you heard about it, you didn't hear about it, or, you know, like, you heard some things about it and you've been interested to try, you just never did. From my perspective, that's how, like, FGC has always been for me.
Yeah. That's sort of the same with me. Because, like, you have to be well into the fighting game rabbit hole to understand, to find games that you don't even heard of.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows about Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but never really delved into the rabbit hole of fighting games like BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, Under Knife and Birth, Melty Blood, and more.
Yeah, like, personally for me, it's just like it took me a while to figure out, like, not even those. I mean, those are just like a pocket. I mean, like, you get more into the rabbit hole and you will discover games like Killer Instinct. You'll discover games like Bloody Roar. You will discover games like Pokken. You will discover games like, again, like a lot of ArcSys games, but you'll also discover, like, I mean, like, I think one of the major exceptions to this until Persona 5 became a thing was Arena.
Yes.
I will. Go first.
Oh, I heard about like Persona 4 Arena,
Mm-hmm.
when I was well into my Persona, very into Persona 4.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't know that around the time it was made by ArcSys, and I was very much well into Ruby. And when I heard that Ruby was in a fighting game, I was like, hang on a minute, wait, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why are Persona characters in the BlazBlue cross tag battle?
Yeah, I think, like, yeah, speaking of, like, I mean, so, as someone who has majorly been into fighting games since, like, the mid-2000s, easily, it is an interesting conversation to have about Persona Arena, because it is one of the most, it's not hated, It's not despised. It is loved. But it is one of those most... It is their games. Because on one hand, look, a majority... It's echoed across the fandom. A majority of Persona fans are not going to be into fighting games. That is obvious. However... the one comment I hear from Persona fans is like, yeah, it's just for the fighting game community. It is for the fighting game community. However, I have been in various amounts of FGC communities over the years, especially nowadays, and the enjoyment or the, you know, sort of the buzz around Persona 4 Arena has been very minimal. People will talk about, you know, it's good, they like it, and they really want to set up sessions, and then those will be conversations from, like, a year ago, and it will never go anywhere. Yeah, so when it comes to, like, Persona 4 Arena, it is... It's very again, it is sort of in that it is their space, because, like, after I've played it, and it's just like, as a Persona fan, yeah, if you're not into fighting games, this is not going to be for you. If you are into fighting games, if you're not in Persona, this is also not going to be for you, because this has a lot of continuation to the story. Like, that's a big, that's a big repetitive saying for a lot of Persona fans, is that P4 Arena is good because it's canon. But if you don't know shit about Persona 4, like, does that matter to you?
Not really, but it does matter if people want to get into Persona as a whole.
Yeah, and it's just like, if you're a fighting game fan, and you're like, oh man, this story seems good, and then you look into Persona, and it turns out it's actually a turn-based strategy game, you're just like, oh, I don't want to play turn-based strategy games. You're kind of stumped.
Yeah.
But...
Are we meant to be talking about Guilty Gear? We just moved on from Guilty Gear to just Persona.
I'm gonna be honest here, I'm not gonna be able to find another place for it, honestly. It's Arxis related, so I don't have a problem with talking about it.
True.
Yeah, like, legitimately, when I made my episodes on, like, Persona, I at no point ever mentioned Arena, because I was talking to two people who I honestly don't really think had much to say about it. Not to say that they didn't have anything, but it's just like, it's there.
Understandable.
Yeah, I could have been wrong, but it's just like, again, like, compared to Strive, or even Fighters, Persona 4 Arena is one of those games where I feel like it is loved, and that's it.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. And also to tack on to the whole thing on BlazBlue, yeah, I'm 100% in belief that the major reason why Cross Tag Battle took off as much as it did was because of that Ruby announcement.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of Ruby fans were really ecstatic that day.
Oh yeah, they came at the best time possible, at the peak of, honestly, arguably the peak of Ruby's, like, hype and Ruby's popularity. Until later seasons came by, and its popularity started to do a nosedive as more people did more criticisms, and it sort of fell off.
Yeah.
And then that also leads into a bigger conversation around Rooster Teeth, which I do not want to get into for right now, but I will if I ever make it into doing a Ruby episode, which, I mean, I can technically do that because they've come out with a couple of games, but I've played Grim Eclipse, so I could do an episode on that, but that depends if there's going to be anybody actually interested in that. But moving on from that, honestly, it's just like, to get back on topic, Guilty Gear Strive is honestly a really good game. And it is interesting what it's done for the story. It's interesting what it is done for the, just the FGC. And, yeah, man, like, I think this game, in, like, the first month or so, sold, like, 1 million copies. This is, like, arguably the most popular Guilty Gear title out of the franchise.
I think it was during, like, peak COVID. It was, like, around 2021 where people were discovering new things, and the fighting game community discovered Guilty Gear.
Yeah, like it's just, COVID in 2020, there's one thing that it did a number for. It did a number for a lot of fighting games, like other games that were sort of dead, sort of popped back up, but it's after COVID where that's where the real test starts. That's where you start to see games that got popular in COVID start to fall off. And Guilty Gear Strive has not really fallen off, so much so that they are still adding new characters and they're adding even new modes.
Yeah, which I'm excited for the free mode.
Oh yeah.
And also they announced that in Evo this year they'll be revealing a new DLC character.
Yeah. You want to take a shot in the dark and try to call it again?
Yeah, this will probably date the thing, but either ABA or Dizzy.
Okay.
Calling it right now.
Yeah. To context to those who are out of the loop, me and Sainon were in call last year before the Game Awards, and she called that F-Out would be in it, and then we got the announcement, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I am still happy that I freaking pulled it.
Yeah, absolutely, props. Full props.
I couldn't yell it out probably because I was in the same room as my parent.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I fucking called it, and then my parents was like, hey, quiet down.
It's like, let's fucking go! Shut the fuck up!
Yes.
Oh man.
My God.
Oh, man. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a few other things I do want to talk about. Most notably, out of this game, out of everything that has been changed, that has been updated and whatnot to Guilty Gear, there is one thing that is pretty big news, and this is what has sort of landed, I think, Strive in the mainstream for a lot of people, for better or worse.
Oh.
And that is Bridget. That is Bridget.
Oh yeah, Bridget!
Yeah, recall context to those who are either not in the know or do not recall. When Strive came out, there was a bit of discourse over Bridget's story when she was a DLC character. Everyone played Bridget's story, and they were like, wait, hold on, is Bridget a girl? Arxis literally came out on Twitter and said, yes, Bridget is confirmed as a trans woman. And that's when the internet went crazy and we got people going like, oh man, this is awesome, I can't believe it, we got Bridget who's actually trans, this is so good, this is good trans representation. And the other people like, she's a fucking guy, it's a bad ending, what the fuck, how are you not seeing this? Legitimately. Go ahead.
I really like how they did Bridget's story in Strive, because principally I love how they take on someone trying to understand or confirm their identity, in which I kind of relate, sort of.
Yeah. It's gonna be weird to say, but I think. Okay, so back in 2019 through 2020, when since before I bought this game and heard about her story, more so I was sort of stepping into the shoes of not realizing trans people exist, but more so getting accustomed with actually meeting trans people. And much like every new experience, it was kind of awkward, it was sort of unknown, I wasn't sure what I could talk about and everything. And then I'm at Dooms and I realized, I'm starting to sort of get it here and there. But when I played Bridget's story, I think that was the moment where I was like, I get it now. Because, like, Bridget's story starts out with, like, her meeting Go Lewis and going like, yeah, I'm a boy. And then actually meeting him again, and it's just like, you listen to more and more of the actual story, and you listen to, like, sort of how both of them come from different backgrounds, and both of them, Go Lewis and Bridget, have, like, different circumstances, but there's, like, a lot of similarities to them. And then we get to the finale, where both Kai and Go Lewis are side by side of her saying, hey, look, I would recommend, it's okay to be yourself. It is okay to be who you are. It is okay to be proud and everything. And, you've got people by your side who will accept you regardless. And hey, if you need more time to do it, hey, that's perfectly fine. And Bridget was like, you know what? That's fine. I'm done running away. It's just like, Go Lewis, and my favorite line is just, happy trails to you, cowgirl, or cowboy. Cowgirl is fine because I'm a girl, and I'm just like, I don't know why. This is what made it click. And I'm like, you know what? I don't get it. And that's the point. I don't get it. Because I'm not supposed to get it. It's not my fucking business. And that's, I think, what made me, above all else, like, kind of... I kind of go more, like, nonchalant towards a lot of the whole ordeal around the trans community and talking around, like, being transgender and everything. Sort of, it just made me realize that it's not as big of a deal as I was initially thinking it was, and also it's none of my business about how people want to live their lives differently than mine. Because at the end of the day, that is all that it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just generally love how they handle the Bridget story, and just like, I just love it. I love it a lot.
Yeah, and I know there are going to be some people who are absolutely still hating on it, going like, oh man, so you got the bad ending. It's just like, the creators have come out to say that there is no real bad endings in Guilty Gear, especially Strive. There's just parts of the whole story. And the whole story is pretty much Bridget actually deciding to finally stop running away and embrace who she is. And part of that is accepting the fact that she is a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I really like. I really like it. I love how they did it. It amazes me a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it is one of those things where it's like, it feels like they have to spell it out, but at the same time, they don't shove it down your throat. They don't go, it's just, well, Bridget has to be, like, just this infallible character who's also trans. It's just like, no, like, Bridget has her own arc. She has her own, like, insecurities, and there's her own problems she's dealing with. And that's, I think, above all else, that's how you write for characters of representation, and especially those who are minorities. You don't write them as infallible, like, strong, independent people. You take that into account and build to the point where they can become that. And if they aren't that, well, you write them as developing. Yeah. I think one of the biggest examples of this before Strive was a thing was Mai Natsume from BlazBlue, which, do you know about this character?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So, initially the story goes like this, is that Mai initially was a guy, but through magic means she became trapped in a girl's body. And since then, more so, it's my story has kind of been about trying to get back to normal in its own way, but then eventually finding out that there's no real reverse to this, that Mai's kind of stuck as a girl. And then you cut to later on down the line, and we have an actual, like, Easter egg of an interactive cutscene. I figured this out in Blaze Blue Cross Deck Battle, where Merkava actually, like, tells Mai, dispose of your shell and you will not be burdened by the shackles of your human coil. Be who you are. Mai says, if there's one thing I know about myself, is that I like who I am. Regardless of what people say, I'll never set that aside. And it's just like, that to me is like, yeah, that's good. And at this point, yeah, I would absolutely say Mai is a representation on trans. At the very least, one of the best representations.
Yeah, I agree. My put simply, it's good character writing when it comes to my.
Yeah, I would say, like, it kind of, like, if you're talking about early on, I mean, wouldn't say so, because it very much goes off of the idea that, like, if we're going off of originally, if it goes off the idea of being trans is something you're forced into, which, no, but being trans, essentially, is something that you eventually, like, find yourself happy with who you are, regardless. That is something I think is actually a lot better of a message.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I agree with it a lot.
Yeah. And next to that, I think we can move on from that and ultimately get into more of the game, which is, pretty much playing online, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you've been in the call with us for a while. Do you have anything you want to kind of say about it?
It's interesting, to say the least. I mean, like, I've heard a story of, like, Ninja just, like, playing as Faust with, like, many people online playing as Giovanna.
Yeah. He's talked about that. Again, it's just, like, I like, again, when I made this open invite, I really wish, like, Ninja was here with us so he could talk about his stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. If nothing else, if he gets pissed off at me for this, I'll probably make, like, a Redux episode where I bring him in for this.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, I made this open invite and told everybody, if you're pissed off that you missed out on it, you should have spoken, man. It's not my fault you weren't paying attention. But anyway, playing online for me is interesting. So I say this as someone who's played the game. Their way of sort of, like, essentially they have their own version of skill-based matchmaking in lobby, where it's like tutorial level. They test out exactly how well you can get into the game and how well you know the game. And if you're sort of starting out, it works as a tutorial. And they start you off, and depending on how well you get the game and everything, you start on the lowest floors. But if you know this game like the back of your hand, they will bump you into higher floors and you play through that. And in its own way, it's sort of like a ranked mode, where basically, instead of just playing for, like, gold or silver or bronze type levels, you're playing for basically, like, skill. So if you get defeated by same people on the same skill level, you get knocked down a few floors. If you beat people on the same skill level, you get ranked up a few floors.
Ooh.
That's how the online lobby works. But aside from that, I mean, like, it's, what can I say? It's just, like, it's cross-play with console and PC. It's amazing that I'm able to play with as many people as I am capable of playing with in this game. And it's, like, that's, I think, a big part of why this game was, like, has done so well over the years, is that so many people can play, like, pretty much regardless of console or anything. It's actually really impressive and actually really great.
That I can agree with, even though I don't have the game yet.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see why people really enjoy the online mode, and it checks out. It seems really fun.
Yeah. I understand very much, like, the playing online was going to be a short topic, but I think we can get into a little longer of a topic, and that is the mods.
Yes, the mods.
Like, as someone who has watched my streams, watch my streams and, like, sort of participate in it, do you want to talk about, like, your experience watching all this?
I don't know. It's what else to say? It's why can I stop? Okay, stop laughing. Anyways, mods are really good. People who create the mods are really good with this stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. So
some mods improve the game, some mods can make you laugh.
Yep. And it's interesting for me because I own a Steam Deck, and on a Steam Deck, it has Linux, so there's no way to actually get a mod manager, which for a number of mods, unfortunately, that's how they work. But other than that, a lot of the mods kind of have taken into account of just like, if you want to do this manually, drag and drop the files into the right location. So as soon as I figured that out, and the first time I did this with 2B and 9S, and I just realized, oh god, even with like just the like sort of the jank or like not everything working right, they look fucking good. Like,
yes,
it's just I like this, and it's just I could not stop adding more and more and more mods to the point of like just I have forgotten how many mods I have installed in this game, and I've forgotten how like just it's just so honestly, it is really interesting and everything, and it's just like I'm really been enjoying it, and I'm enjoying laughing my ass off and everything. And oh man, it's just like, in light of this, I had made a shitpost edit of the Guilty Gear Strive 1-year anniversary music video, which yep, it was pretty much every mod that I had made, like, poorly pasted in its own ways, and it's just like, it was so good.
Yes, the Fumos,
the Neko Arc, the fucking Elf Stofel, the Drip Dante. It's just, it was, I have loved it, and it's just like, I think in the grand scheme of things, this is like, you know, other people looking out can understand, like, go like, what the fuck is happening? What the hell did you do to this game? But to me, it's just like, I made it better. I made it better.
Yes, you made it even better than it ever was.
Yeah, and oh man, it is going to be interesting going forward with the newer characters and everything. And I have to say though, it is pretty damn interesting, like the amount of combinations I've made with certain mods and all due to their jank. But it's also interesting, like, it's interesting to see just how quick some modders are, because dear god, the first thing people will ever do when a new character comes out is, hey, make him nude.
What?
Yep, and the only reason why, and there's a good reason of why I haven't shown it, is because it's an SFW. But that's like, anytime I go on Game Banana, I will scroll through the mods. First things I see are like for example, FL Valentine. The first thing I ever found was a nude mod.
Oh my freaking god!
They fucking take off they fucking take off the clothes, add some nipples, and just draw a line on the crotch, and they're good to go.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And it doesn't even stop there, because some people will go further and actually like make bigger, like thicker thighs, bigger ass, and bigger boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And also next to that, one of the first mods that was ever made for it was somebody modded Felt Victory to be Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah, you showed me that. Yes.
Oh man. But yeah, this was it's, I mean, like, I still want to play with everybody and everything. I'm just majorly taking a break because I'm doing Persona 3 Reload right now, and yeah. But it's just like, I am, every now and then I'll just pop my head back into like the modding community, see what people have made. Some things are good. A lot of it mainly is just palette swap colors, like you'll get like, oh, it's Chai from Hi-Fi Rush, but it's just FL with the same color scheme, which is okay. Other times, again, you'll get like, oh, Happy Chaos as Adachi. Like sometimes you'll get those mods every now and then. You'll get Kai Kisuke as Raiden from Metal Gear Rising. You'll get Soul Bad Guy as Ragna the Blood Edge. Like it is interesting the amount of time and effort people have put into the modding community and everything, and it's interesting above all else. Like, I mean, like, the only mod I have made to this day, not in Guilty Gear, but for BlazBlue Cross Tech Battle, is a full-on soundtrack mod, which took me over a year to make, so I understand, even from that alone, I understand how hard this is, and oh my god, speaking of soundtrack, dude, the fucking Eggman mod I got with Alfred Coleman as Eggman, and the metal theme to Eggman, just, it was one of the best things I did. And it still is. I refuse to change it because of that.
Yeah. When you showed me the Eggman mod, like, before you revealed that you modded almost every character in Guilty Gear Strive, I was like, damn, these modders are really good. They're really, really good. Just whang.
And then there's the fucking Bedman one, where it's like, that marks the end of Bedman streaming. If you liked what you see, make sure to like, comment. I'm just like, motherfucker, you plugged yourself onto my stream.
If it weren't for that, we wouldn't have the best clip ever.
Yep. Next to clips, so it's also the Rebecca's Canon event.
Yes, Rebecca's Canon event.
Oh man. Yeah, I've had so much fun with the modding, and it's just helped that I've had like some friends who've had some really good sense of humor. Honestly, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And we did talk a little bit about this, but I think we can come up with we can top this off with talking more about the new characters in 3v3. Since we did talk a little bit about it, if you want to talk about any like new characters or what you're hoping for in the grand scheme of things, other than like sort of what's being teased and coming out, feel free to.
Okay, so pretty much the reason why in the last two predictions that I've done, I've thrown in Dizzy is because I've seen what Dizzy does and like her like instant kill move in like Xford.
Yeah.
I really like her a lot, as well as the very hilarious fact that that she is the married to Kai, but also the maid Kai, father-in-law to Soul. The moment they realized that in Expert, just comedy gold.
Yep. Are you my son? I'm like 60% your son. I'm not giving you an allowance.
Yeah. They literally have an in-game model for her in Strive. Would be nice if, had a playable character. Please, Arxis, I'm begging.
If there's any characters I could see happening, it could honestly be the president from the story.
Oh yeah,
he could honestly work, considering he's got a fucking robot arm that also works as like a cannon. Like, they could make that work. Next to that, I could also imagine, like, considering how much she had involvement in the story, like the previous president, which side note, because Guilty Gear takes place in this story, we finally did it. Years down the line, we'll have a woman president. What a day to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see characters like that being added. And yeah, there's some other characters I could also see being added. I know for a lot of people, the worry is they go off of how they used to play initially, and the worry is that they're more so going to get they're going to be the same like that. But no, it's pretty much I 100% believe that Arxis is rebalancing and sort of readjusting their playstyle and everything. Especially considering that they're coming out with a 3v3 mode, which I have no idea how that's going to work.
Would it work like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or something else?
So there is the idea there. It could be Marvel vs. Capcom 3. In Arxis fashion, it could be Fighters or Cross-Tech Battle. Or they could do what Street Fighter 6 has done and basically just make it 1v1, but just make it a 3 rounds where one character dying leads to another character being added. And basically making that a 6v6 co-op. Or 3v3 co-op.
Which...
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it's I don't know how it'll go, but all I know is that we finally have free VV and free. We finally have free V3. I mean, we have co-op, but still, free VV just seems fun.
Honestly, I will say their co-op. I will say this about it, and I'm glad they're getting a 3v3 because I gotta be honest, Guilty Gear Strive's co-op is shit. It really is. It is. Yeah. It's like it only really works best when it's in the story mode, because it's like there will be like the last arcade level has you playing with like one reoccurring character on your team who is just a comm. That's it. So the fact that they were getting 3v3 to sort of fix that and everything, I'm real glad for.
Yeah. I'm glad Arxis listened to people's complaints about not having free V3.
Yeah, honestly. At the very least, I would have accepted a 2v2, honestly. It's just a tag team one. I would have accepted that. They didn't need to go all the way for 3v3, but they did. And I'm happy for it. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
I just really hope... this is one thing I'm hoping for. I'm just really hoping it's not a DLC. I'm really hoping it's not DLC. Because I don't
Same here.
I don't want to have to pay for that.
Same here.
But aside from that, I think we can close this off with talking about pretty much, in your opinion, do you think that this is the best Arxis game? And if not, if so, why? If not, what do you think is the best Arxis game?
I think it's one of the best Arxis games because you can tell how much time they took with character designs, as well as how they wanted to like change up the story a bit and make it a little bit darker with terms of like all that such. The voice acting it's good for both Japanese and English.
Yeah.
And from what I've saw, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh man. I would say that, yeah, arguably this is the best Arxis game, honestly. If we are not counting collaborative projects like Cross-Tech Battle, like Persona 4 Arena, like Fighters, like even Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, because that wasn't Arxis, that was Xseed, I believe. But if we're counting out collaborative projects, Guilty Gear Strive is probably the best fighting game that Arxis has made in recent years. A lot of people like to go for BlazBlue Central Fiction as one of the best, which, yeah, I think it is. I think it's a good game, honestly. But I would absolutely have to say, like, Guilty Gear Strive just kind of really trumps that. It's been a really fun game. It's really enjoyable, and it is a lot of fun just to mod it.
I agree.
Yeah. I guess if there's anything else to close out of, I mean, we could talk about some of like either hopes or like kind of things that we sort of want to see out of Guilty Gear Strive going down the line.
All right. I don't know. Just like maybe like new game modes, new game modes, and like just like see who they add into the game, and like if they have another DLC season.
Yeah.
And just Arxis, please add Dizzy. She hasn't been in Strive, man. We have seen her only in cutscenes. Come on.
They might do. I'll give you a benefit of doubt. They might do a Sora from Kingdom Hearts thing where that's like the last character they add.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Personally, for me, I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard to say because it's just like. It's like there's so much this game is doing right and everything. I guess in terms of what I could look forward to is honestly, yeah, some more game modes. I'd like to see some more game modes. I like to see more like creativity flow down the line. I know most likely that might not be the case. Like 3v3 and some new characters is probably all we're gonna get. But I mean, hey, like I would like to see more creativity added with that. Like, hey, like if we're getting 3v3, maybe actually add in like raid bosses. Like kind of like I mean Fighters is doing this, and I know like Thero has made like a living off of just doing modded raid bosses. So that's one thing. And you know, it's just like I think like having modes not just for like online or arcade for 3v3 where you actually encourage more people to get into it and even join and fill parties up, like, I think could really be some fun. Because, yeah, like, I still have a lot of fun in Guilty Gear Strive and everything, playing it and modding it, sure. But, I don't know, like, actually changing things up a bit and actually adding a mode where there's more cooperative involvement and there's more teamwork added and everything, especially considering that they're adding 3v3. Like, I think that could actually be a really good time, honestly. That could actually open the door for more new opportunities and more, like, just more possibilities down the line above all else. And I really feel like, honestly, if anything, that might actually make this game have a lot more staying power. Because that's the thing about a lot of fighting games, is that they're not bad. It's just like, you can only get into beating your friends or getting beat by your friends so many times before it's just like, yeah, I gotta take a break. But yeah, if you were to add like 3v3 and add more cooperative modes and everything, like, hey, you'd actually give more incentive for people to continue playing this, or even people to buy this. Like, I honestly do think that they would go out of their way to add that. And I absolutely do think that, you know, like, this game is probably going to be, like, among everything, like, the magnum opus to Guilty Gear. So I 100% believe if it makes, you know, if the 3v3 does successful, which I absolutely believe it will, we might get more modes down the line in benefit of 3v3 for the future. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know what the future is going to hold for this game. But it is going to be interesting to look at going down the line. Yeah.
Agreed.
Overall, I think the only criticism I have is, I mean, one, Arxis decreased the loading time for starting the game and getting into it and everything. That's, like, I've played your other games. I know you can do better. And I'm not even talking about, like, the other games that you collaborated with. I know you can do better on that end. But other than that, also, like, if you're gonna do quarter circles, make them more simple. I am getting tired of having to do basically half moons for the fucking, like, the fucking specials and everything. Because it's left, down, right, and then jab it all the way back to left, and then use the button input. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do that on fucking directional pad and analog stick. That's just, like, that's the one major complaint I've had with Strive, is that the fucking ways to do specials are honestly fucking aggravating at times.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I haven't even got the game yet.
Yeah, but you've heard and the amount of times I've bitched about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, I don't really know if there's much else we can talk about, unless you have, like, anything else you want to talk about or mention.
Not really. Not really.
Yeah. Yeah, I might come back with this and ask Ninja if he wants to have a go at it, see what pick his brain about that. But either way, it's just like I'm really glad to have you on board for this, and I'm really hoping that you can get Strive. And hey, maybe like later on down the line, if you do get Strive, we can revisit this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am the door.
Alright. Yeah. Alright, so that is going to be it. To everyone listening, if you like it and everything, feel free to subscribe. Check me out on my social media. All links will be in the description below. And if you want to keep in touch and everything, make sure to hit subscribe and check out subscriptions and keeping track. And next time we'll be doing another podcast. I have another episode planned in mind. When this episode gets released, it should be out. Like the next episode should be out next week. So stay tuned for that and everything. And again, thank you, Sion, for coming on here again.
Hey, not a problem.
Yeah, and we'll be signing off. So this has been the On Colors podcast, and I'm the Artstation, and this has been Sion. So everybody, take care and peace.
See ya.